mean, the formal definition, if you Google it, Chief Technology Officer, right? For the person responsible for tech stack, architecture, hiring, projections, future goals, spending with tech. I guess the more managerial side of like technology. And then there's like the real answer.
Walter. What's up, dude?
Been a while?
Been a while. It's been like, what, 4 years?
No, man, it's a blur. It feels like yesterday. I was into tech when I was like a little lad. I always wanted a computer, but I grew up in a very poor household, so we did not have a computer. Unlike, you hear those billionaires, they programmed their first game at like the age of 8. Wasn't quite like that, but I was always into it. I was always very curious, and I've been pretty much following that ever since. That's what it is. It's like, how can you design something that people will want to use? As a developer in general, programmer, you gotta know how the entire thing comes together.
Walter is developing the code on the back end that creates, one, the visual component, but two, on the separate side of things, is like the database and the algorithms and logic that has to go into making that page or that function actually work. And that's really the overall like ecosystem of what we generate.
Oh, they're already on. Come on, guys. Louisiana. All right. Is that where you are? We'll start with the way we did it yesterday. We'll just talk about what we're working on and any blocking issues. And then I probably have a few things to go over, like Jira and things like that. Yeah, building a startup or an app or anything from the ground up is probably one of the more stressful things you can do. It doesn't look exciting, right? It's like you're just sitting there, there's a laptop, but in your head it's just like a million things happening, right? Like this won't work with this, won't work with this, but it might work with this. Like that's sort of what's happening like 24/7 until you have an actual architecture built out. And then it's kind of nice. Then it's kind of like fun. Team gets together, hurrah! We can add fanciful buttons to it. But during that initial process, like right now, which is what I'm doing, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, on the day-to-days, what we're talking about is really like any blockers. So blockers can come in the shape of like missing logic, meaning there's like, hey, this function we instituted and we started coding, but we haven't thought we were thinking about this scenario. What happens in this scenario? And it could be like one out of like 50 scenarios that just like we missed thinking about.
Because again, it's such a volatile thing in the beginning because it is changing. Every day we have a meeting and we get to take one thing that like completely invalidates other things. I'm just like, I didn't think about that. I didn't account for that. And that's just a part of it. You have to get used to that. So a lot of stress, a lot of coffee.
We need to just basically finalize what that logic is so that dev can close the loop on all those things.
So would the logic be that we combine all of them, everyone at that company, every team member's event list? In my case, working for a startup, CTO means a lot more than that. It's like, more often than not, it means like the person building out the first version of the product, right? So it's a lot of hands-on work, but that doesn't push away the other stuff, right? Like I still have to like find the right libraries, tools. If there's a budget for hiring, they have to do the hiring, so it's that plus the coding. So it's a little bit, I don't know. It's not the actual role.
But my trust is in Walter, right? So because I am not the technical person, I hire a CTO, who also, he has equity in what we're building, a significant amount of equity in what we're building. So he has ownership in it. And so he's compelled to, obviously be a driver for us to get to the deliverables and the milestones. And there's just an underlying trust there.
I think you earn the right to be CTO at a company. You don't just become CTO. I actually enjoy the CTO role, to be honest. Like the person in charge of like the entire like architecture, the technology, like looking at costs, managing tasks. I like having that kind of oversight on a project. It's a lot of fun. And I think a lot of that is because I've been coding for so long. So the coding itself isn't really a challenge anymore. you know. But being responsible for the entire product from a business technical side, from the coding, from even the financial stuff, I don't know. I'm finding a lot of fun in that right now. Could be because I'm getting older, probably.